This video is for those of you who would like to print out a schedule of your parent-teacher conferences. I'm going to walk you through how to make a schedule, much like the one that's on screen right now. This is kind of the final result where we have invitees and the students that will be coming to us. I have it filtered currently by time, so we're seeing it in from first appointment onward, and we're able to clearly see if it's going to be a Google Meet or if they're going to be coming in person. Yes, with also space for notes that we can keep track of. Now, you can keep this file live where you can, write notes as you go, or you can print it and have a paper copy that you can take notes on as you go out throughout your day. So let's get started. So within Calendly, you do have the ability to just print those pages. You would have to go into your event, go to scheduled events, and then you can select your date range and then just print. This, however, becomes problematic if you have more than one page worth of appointments. And also, it doesn't really look very good. It's kind of clunky because you're printing out a web page. Additionally, you can print out your calendar through Google Calendar, but that also might be kind of smushed because you have many appointments in very small windows. So it doesn't leave us with very good options. So the alternative I'm going to propose is that we, within Calendly, if you go into your event now, but once you've selected your date range and you have your appointments listed here, what we're looking to do is to export the data. When you go ahead and select export, it will download it for you, and you'll see a box on the bottom right-hand side. If you go ahead and click on this, you'll be able to open up the file. And I already have one here that I borrowed from another teacher. And when you open up the file, you end up with the raw data, and it looks like this. So if you're still with me, I'm going to help you turn this data into something that is a little bit more manageable. All right. The first step we're going to do once we have the raw data is, just like everything we teach our students to do, is we're going to create the file and save it, right? So if you go to File, we're going to hit Save as Google Sheets. And that takes a moment, but it'll convert it into a more familiar format here. Next, we're going to give it a name. Okay, and we're going to go Fall Parent Teacher Conferences 2022. Okay, so now that we have all our data here, we want to clean it up, right? So it makes sense to us. So I'm going to highlight and just make that top part in bold here. And I'm going to go looking through things that I don't need. So I don't need this. And as I'm going along, I'm just right clicking. So for me on this Chromebook, it's Alt and click. And I'm going to hide that column because I don't need that. I also don't need this column that says team. So we're going to hide that one too. I do want to know who is coming, so this is the invitee names. And then it is also broken down by first name and last name. So this is all preference. If you would like to have just first name or first and last name, totally up to you. Then we have email address, we have the time zones, and this next one, see if they're accepting marketing emails. So these three, we're not going to need those. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one. And I'm simply selecting more than one by holding down the Shift button as I click. And I'm going to hide those three. Okay, and then it looks like I can hide this one as well. And, oh, I want that. So that one says start date and time. So I do want that. So I am going to hide this event type. And I'm going to keep the start and end. The location I'm going to keep. So here is where we see if it's going to be in person. So there's the room number, or if it's going to be a Google Meet, and then there's the Google Meet URL. And then I see the date created. I don't think I need that, so I'm going to get rid of that part. So I'm going to highlight that. Canceled. None of these have been canceled. I'm going to hide that too. Canceled by, canceled reason. Before I do that, let me double check. So nope, none of them have been canceled. So I will right click and hide. Now you can delete these. I'm simply choosing to hide them because you never know if you want this data again. I'm just getting it out of the way. Question one was, what is the name of the student? And the responses. There are no additional questions here for question two, so I'm going to hide question two and response two. I'm also going to hide the campaign, the source. This looks like it's just data that Calendly is collecting, so I'm going to go ahead and hide all of those because I don't need those. Guest emails, I don't think I'm going to be needing that for my purposes, so I'm going to hide that as well. And if confirmed and marked as no, I'm going to hide that as well. So as I'm highlighting these, you'll notice I'm not clicking. I'm going to keep meeting notes. I do want that one. I just hit shift and I'm using the arrow keys um, to continue selecting these. You can do them by clicking like we were doing previously as well. All right, so there's that. And these two, it says group and user email, so I'm going to hide those as well. And just leaves me with two kind of blank ones at the end here, so I'm going to hide those. So here's my data. I've got who's coming. I've got it broken down by first name and last name in case I want to filter it that way. I've got the email addresses, start time, end time, locations, and student that will be attending, and some meeting notes. So that's what we needed. Up next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a filter and just kind of dress it up to make it look a little nicer. So now that we have our data, I'm going to go ahead and highlight all of the data by clicking the top left box. I'm going to go to Format and select alternating colors. This isn't necessary. It's something I like to do because it just makes the content kind of pop and makes it a little easier for me to follow along. So there's our alternating colors. What I'm going to also do, since I have everything highlighted, is I'm going to increase the size of the text just to make it a little easier for me to read and follow along with it, all right? The next step I'd like to do is I'm going to select this top row here and I'm going to freeze it. That just makes it so that if I go to view, I hit freeze on row one, as I scroll down through my data, it keeps that top row frozen in place. Additionally, we're going to select that top row again and go to data and hit a create a filter. Creating filters, some of you may be familiar with, but it is a really great way of just organizing the data. Once you have the filters in place, if you click those three little lines here, you can organize your data alphabetically. In our case, alphabetically for the start times means it'll just go with the soonest one and work its way down from there. Okay, so up next, we are going to highlight all the data, and I'm just going to make a couple final tweaks. First one is going to be to select wrap text. I just like this a little better. It makes it a little bit bigger so that, I have more space here for my meeting notes. And just for myself, I'm going to scoot this one over a little bit. And now looks great. I've already have it filtered so that my first appointment's at the top here. Final part is to print. So quite simply, you can hit print here and send it to your printer. If you want to print it in color, it's already in landscape, so it fits in all the cells we've selected.